Yeah.
And Noah's at a conference, but he's going to join us as soon as we're done with our um, news. He's got some things that he wants um, to tell us about and such. So here we go. Exciting news and events. And I'm going to start off with the music program. Bach to Blues is the 16th. And hey, David, this is the how what year? Is this 16th annual or?
Oof, that's a good question. I want to say maybe in the 20s now,
Yeah,
low
okay.
20s.
Yeah, I've been going for years. I try never to miss it. It's such an amazing uh what I think is so amazing is watching people who are going for the first time and they always say, I can't believe there's this much talent on campus. Well, yeah, if you open your eyes and pay attention, you can see all the cool people on campus. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's gonna be a really great show, guys. And if you could let your students know, that would be wonderful.
yeah, I'm
What
gonna
time is it again, Debbie?
It's at 7 o'clock.
7. Okay.
It's $20 general admission, but students and seniors are $10 each.
Okay.
and I and Tim are going to MC it. I've never done it before, and
Yeah.
looking forward to that. But yeah, we're really excited. We're going to have the film and television program. We're going to be filming it as we always do, so that we don't stream it, but we will have it ready. Whatever parts the musicians want, we will have ready to upload to YouTube. But we're also doing a Gav TV news. So we're going to do interviews of the um, uh, musicians after they perform backstage. And then we are going to also interview some audience members afterwards. So we will have a Gav TV news story about that. And so we'll be there in a lot of different capacities. But what's going to be special or different about this year? Every year is amazing, but Maria, do you have?
Hi, everyone. So this year we have the K Boiler Band, which if you haven't heard her, she's pretty awesome. So we're really excited about that.
Can you
And
share the link, the YouTube link of her performance? Because that was really.
yeah, I'll try to I'll do that. And then we have the Hollister High Winter Percussion Band, so they will be starting. And those are our guests for this year. I mean, featured guest is Kay Boiler, of course. And then the new winner of the local division of and pretty much the same. Yeah, the piano competition.
Yeah,
So,
exciting.
it should be fun. Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah.
So please.
What day is this again?
This is next Saturday, March 16th, and I did send the campus-wide email asking all the instructors if it would be possible to announce it to your classes, and if it fits into your discipline, maybe you can offer them extra credit or something to entice them to come. I think once they're there, they love it, but a lot of them don't know about it, and so yeah, it would be great.
I think the title is perfect. Bach to Blues.
Right.
Think of it from an 18-year-old perspective. Bach.
Yeah, not so much, but blues.
Yeah. I mean, well, not even blues. I think that they that is and so they're always pleasantly surprised, but I don't think
It
even
is, yeah.
I wouldn't touch the title. I think it's perfect, but it is, I don't know if for 18-year-old students if it's the title that it brings them.
Yeah, actually, I'm curious, Maria, who came up with that title? Do you know?
Oh, that was many years ago. We did, I think it was 98, the first one that we did. And we just kind of sitting there and brainstorming. I'm like, well, we have, and it was when John Garcia was playing. Not John, yeah, John Garcia, the blues guitar player. And so we just kind of brainstormed and came up with it. So it wasn't just one person, but yeah. And we stuck with it.
John Garcia was amazing.
Yeah.
Loved. watching him play every year.
Yeah, he always finished the concert, you know, between him and Nate, and it was like, well, but we have classical, and so sort of.
It was one of my favorite things is everybody would come on stage and participate in that last song.
The end, yeah.
And Art Junker used to come on and play the piano, and then John Garcia was on the guitar, but then Albert would join him also on guitar, and it just was kind of this jam session, unrehearsed thing that was, I always thought it was pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
So anyways, you never know what you're gonna get, except
Right.
that it's gonna be fun and exciting, really talented people. So that's next weekend. I actually have a couple things that I wanted to talk about. The film and television program does a feature film every couple years, and our film is going to be released the following Saturday. So Saturday, March 23rd in Morgan Hill at the Cinelux Theaters, we're having our world premiere. And a lot of the directors and actors, cast and crew will be there. And we're really excited about it. We think it's a really good film. It's been accepted to a bunch of film festivals, but this is the premiere. And so if you're interested, you can come to Cinelux and watch with us. It'll run for a week after that in Morgan Hill, and then come to Gilroy, but it won't be with all of the filmmakers and actors. So if you want to come watch with us next or the Saturday following the Bach to Blues. And
That
then
at 7?
What?
7 o'clock? Is that at 7 as well?
No, that's at 2:00.
Oh,
Yeah, and I'll tell you, part of the
Thank
reason
you.
is that we have a giant after party at my house. I think I modeled it after what Albert and Maria do after Bach to Blues at their after party. But yeah, it's a very big deal. We have a lot of fun. Sometimes we watch bits of it and talk, but lots of food and drink, and so you're all welcome to that too if you want. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention is that we have our showcase every year at the end of the spring semester. We play the best student films of the year, and I truly believe this is the best collection of student films we've ever had. There are some amazing films, and there's so much competition that there are a lot of great films that won't make it in because we have just so much content now. So that's a free event. It's at the Gavilan Theater. It was May 4th, but it's been moved forward to 4/20, April 20th. So if you want to come watch, I'm almost certain you probably have one or more of our students in your classes. So if you want to see some of your students and their work, you can see some amazing student films. And that is at 6 or 7 o'clock on April 20th. I think it's 6 that we start. Because again, we have an after party, which we never skip because that's fun. Anyone else have exciting news or events? Yes, Veronica.
Thursday, April 18th, we're going to do the alumni panel again from 3 to 4:30 in CDC 110. And we're going to need a crew to cover it like we did last time, Grant, to get that. I think that would be great opportunity to get some B-roll of some footage and maybe do some more interviews.
Yeah, that's the 18th, you said?
On a Thursday, yes.
Thursday, okay.
And then, so the question then becomes, and I know I hopped on here a little bit late, so I know you guys were talking earlier about Gav TV, but how do we promote this? I haven't seen Rosie, and so my understanding, like, do we have a PIO? How can we?
So we're actually going to talk about that in just a minute.
Okay.
We're going to, yeah, so that we're going to talk about that exact thing. When it comes to Gav TV, we will be there.
Okay.
We have a schedule, and we can do a promotional video in advance, and then cover it and then have it afterwards. A lot of it just depends on our schedule. So, for example, I really wanted to be at the piano competition over the weekend, but we just have so many things on our schedule. So the sooner you get on our schedule, we lock it in, and then so anyways, we want to make sure that it's covered. So for sure. And I'm gonna save the rest because Noah, in fact, I might have to text Noah because he wanted me to text him when he wanted us to join. So so I don't know, Jan, do you have anything else to add about that?
No, we did have, we did insert one thing into the agenda at a later moment. And Deborah was going to talk briefly about the CAP media work that she's doing, and an ask for some of us to participate in some upcoming events. Are you there, Deborah?
Yes, I am.
So let's table the request form that's the PIO offices thing until Noah joins us. And right now, Deborah, why don't you talk about the CAP events?
Okay, so I don't know if you've all heard, but the Rama, I think is what it's called. It's the second year, is April 22nd through the 26th. And as a cap for the Fine Arts Department, I'm going to host a table for the entire week for the 2.5 hours a day that the students are here from different high schools, so that we can feature our departments, and they estimate around 400 to 500 students a day. So what I'd like to put together is I'll be there the whole entire time, but I need at least one other person for every shift. And so I'll be sending out a sign-up sheet for either half-hour or hour-long shifts for during that 2.5 hours per day for the entire week. And I would really appreciate it if some of you could sign up and just stop by and help talk to the students, or give me a potty break or something. We're going to have a table with a pop-up and a whole bunch of different resources for all the students. Yes.
So what we have done in the past is every program has the right to have their own table.
Right.
I was there last year for film and television. Veronica, you were there for communications. And I think even if Jan and I were there as department chairs, we couldn't ask her answer the music questions like David or Maria could, or the foreign language questions like David or Albert or Sori or
Right.
others could. So if you can, it would be nice to have a table to represent your own program, so that students know that we have that. So
Or come share my table if you want, or I can request 2 tables and I have 2 pop-ups, and we can all be together as one department. This is just the Fine Arts Department.
right.
Yeah.
We're
I don't know.
actually trying to get the I'm trying to get the music ensemble to perform during one of those days.
I
So,
heard.
I'm still waiting to get a confirmation from all the students, but hopefully that'll be good visibility.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
And if
What
others
day
of
is
you
that
have-
again?
It's the 22nd of April through the 26th. The students are there from 11:30 to 2, but we have like an hour before and an hour after to set up, but I can take care of that.
Okay.
And if there are other students in your programs that you would like to have represent and talk student to student, that would be great too.
Yeah, like if we want to have a laptop there with the continuous feed of some of your TV movies and hits, Grant, that would be great. Just give me the information, or the file, or send it to me or whatever, so I can run it.
Yeah, we'll Well, I would like to have our own table like we've done in the past. Because we have Gavi awards and monitors and things like that and then we talk specific things for those who are interested in majoring in film production. So
Great. Do you think it'd be a good idea that we all put our tables by each other so that we
yes.
represent the
Yeah.
entire, yeah, okay, great. I'll
Yes,
make
I
sure
mean,
that
if
they
you
know
think
that.
about the connections with music and communication and foreign languages and art and theater, that it all makes sense that we are close to one
Yeah,
another.
aren't we all considered the humanities department?
Well, no, we're the fine arts department. We're the humanity or Noah, what is your division called? Jan, do you know what the official title is?
Sorry,
Arts,
I might
humanities,
unmute.
and social sciences.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Great.
And this is the media cap that's specific to students who would be wanting to pursue studies in the media areas.
Great.
And we'd like to capture a lot more students this time, and we felt that being there on this particular day would be great.
Totally agree. Yeah. Anyone else have questions for Deborah? Okay, I don't know how long Noah can stay, so let's have Noah present, talk about the event request form.
Hey, everybody. I am here. I'm at Mission College today with the HR team and Scott Sandler. We're at a training for incorporating diversity, equity, and inclusion into employee evaluations. So I just stepped out for a moment so I could say hello and wish you all a happy spring. Remember to spring forward this Sunday and enjoy the extra long evenings. I want to talk specifically about the PIO request form. One of the things that I love about spring is that our department has so many events. I think each and every program pretty much has a major event this semester. So I did talk to Rosie and Noemi. I'll send this out by way of email also, but I just wanted to, come on and verbally say it too. The PIO request form is for everything PIO related. So everything from a social media post to if we want to have them make a flyer or if you want to send out an all-campus email, every single request that we have of the PIO office, no matter how small, does go through this PIO request form. And what that does is that's their process of collecting all of the responses from across the campus and being able to calendar everything and prioritize because they can only send out a certain number of emails, all campus emails per day. And so that's why they need to have a process to be able to prioritize, and calendar when the emails get sent out. So I'm kindly requesting that everyone use the PIO form. I'll send it out again by way of email. But that's the PIO's process. So not, sending them direct emails or phone calls or anything like that. We go through the PIO form. They are requesting on the form, it says 3 weeks. I would say at least 2 to 3 weeks before. And again, that's for everything, and including if you have an all-campus email that you want sent out. With the all-campus email, you would, click that box, and then you can attach a Word document that has the actual text of it, and then make sure it has your signature on it. Because any campus-wide email that goes out needs to have a signature line, so people know who to contact if they have questions about the event or the promotion. One question I got about the form is one of the very first questions asks you to select your VP because it gets routed to the VP for approval. Because we are an instructional department, our VP is Modi Faya. So when you fill out the form, again, the first question is going to ask you is the VP, and it's a drop down. So you can just drop down and select Dr. Modi Faya for it. Any questions about that?
I would say that I think 2 weeks is not nearly enough time. 3 would be kind of the minimum, and I would go do it more than a month in advance, because I've heard some people who said that they did it at the before their 2-week deadline, and they were told it was too late. So the sooner the better. And we were just talking about upcoming events at Gavilan. A lot of us have things happening. And so now's the time to start thinking about it. As soon as you send that form, Noah, we should all fill it out and submit. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much.
Anyone have any questions for Noah? He might be getting off and going back to his training, so now's the time. Okay, and we also, did I rush you, Deborah? Did you have say everything you wanted to about the CAP events? And also I know that I talked a lot about the music and television programs, but does anyone else have other exciting news and events that are coming that you want to tell the group? Okay, now the next agenda.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
Dave.
Grant.
Good.
Yeah, I just
Thank
want
you.
to point out that we're going to have our orientation for the immersion program to Sevilla on Saturday, the 16th at 10 a.m. So we're going to be putting some flyers in the instructors' boxes, so that way they can share that information with their students. That'd be great. Highly appreciate that.
Yeah, and I am going to go into find the YouTube video, but the Gav News and Television did a story on this, and a lot of faculty, am I right, David, go to these events or go on to Sevilla or in the past.
Yeah, the immersion program. Yeah, we've had some instructors in the past. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to I'm gonna grab this video, the link to this video right now. But I encourage you to watch it and see what the Spanish program is doing. It is pretty exciting that they take students to.
You were thinking of.
I'm sorry. To.
So I thought this girl was
Spain
Who's that?
to. This is I'm going to YouTube and it's commercial, but I'm back and here is the link to the Spanish immersion program. But what they do is very exciting. And if you or any students or friends or might want to do this, practice their Spanish, experience new cultures, you should really consider this because it's something amazing that they've done for years, but then had to take a break during COVID, and they're back doing it again starting this year. So pretty exciting stuff. And
Grant, yeah, appreciate the promotion there, brother. That's good stuff. Thank you. Yeah, it's open to everybody. If you have the time and the money, it's a great opportunity for people just to enrich their cultural perspective, so to speak, right? It's very unique. It's a safe, clean city. We've had a lot of success with the program. So we're kind of excited to just, start it back up again right after the pandemic here. So we're hoping we get plenty of interest. But yeah, if you guys, can help out, distribute some of that information to your students, that'd be great. We highly appreciate that.
David, thank you so much. How long is the program? Is it 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 2 weeks?
We used to do it for a month, but yeah, we started deciding that 3 weeks was the optimal time, just because of the fact that after 3 weeks, we started noticing the students just really getting fatigued, cultural overload, I guess you can say, and the academics that are involved as well. So yeah, we're doing a 3-week program this year. So it'll be
based at a university there, University de Sevilla, or?
Actually, it's not the university, it's a language school, but they are affiliated with the university. They do some partner activities and what have you, but the school itself, yes, it's a language school that's been around for over 20 years.
Okay, and do they get any college credit for that?
Yes, they do. Yes, it's if they sign up for our 1A course all the way through 2B, they get the foreign language credit.
Oh, that's cool.
So they can knock out a whole semester in 3 weeks.
Wow.
Right? but it's intense. So that's the thing. The students are in the class from 9 in the morning all the way to about 2 in the afternoon with a break in between, right?
But then it's they're living there. They're host
Yeah.
family.
They're
Probably doesn't
practicing the
speak much
language, living
English.
the language, yeah, on a daily basis with a family.
Going
that
out
they
and
live
ordering
with.
food and going into a club or
Exactly.
visit, seeing the city or going on excursions to other places, you have to speak Spanish. So in a short amount of time, you really improve your Spanish. And the
Yeah,
other thing that Albert and David talked about that I thought was really interesting is it's just not just Americans. There are people from lots of countries that go there. So you meet a variety of people, and I think that's kind of exciting too. So
yeah, definitely.
yeah. So if you're interested, by the way, I would say I know that Peter Howell went, and I've heard Peter talk about it for years, how much he loved it. There are others. I think didn't Kimberly Warren go one year? I know
Yeah,
some deans went, didn't Fran or
I believe, yeah, they ended up going to the Mexico program.
oh, okay, yeah.
We used to
So
run it to Zacatecas, yeah.
yeah. So it's very fun. And I even though I haven't gone yet, and I get teased about it all the time by David and Albert, I am going to be going soon. So
Yay, all right.
um okay, anyone else have anything to share? Okay, now Jan and I need to talk about the next agenda item. We have served 2 terms as the Fine Arts Department co-chairs, and there needs to be an election for the next chair or chairs coming up, and we cannot run against anyone. We're termed out, so we need people to step up. We can tell you all about the job and what it entails and what things you'll be doing. I think it's very smart to break it up like Albert and Maria did before us, and other departments like the English department. It's Christina Salvin and Scott Sandler, I believe. So sharing the load is sometimes a really good thing. But we need 1 or 2 people or more. There might be an election, and we can talk about all those things. But who's going to do it next? Who might be interested?
Crickets.
Okay, David, you were the first to speak, so you
No,
signed up.
I just sneezed. That was a sneeze. I apologize.
You have an entirely different circumstance than Grant and I walked into, because we were elected right as the pandemic hit. And then our dean left, Eddie, and we were deanless, and then we had a dean for 3 months, and we were deanless again. It was really painful. You have the benefit of working with a dean that's been with the college for almost 2 years, an amazing division assistant who has been really well trained and is really responsive in so many ways. And you've got a really wonderful department to work with, right, Maria? Right, Albert? Because they were our predecessors, but they had Fran, and so they had that rock solid 20+ year dean. So you are, if you choose to run, you move into a spot where we're moving past the emergency part of the pandemic, and we are expanding both in face-to-face classes and in distance ed classes, and the arts are hopping. So what do you think?
I'd like to see some new blood. It'd be nice to see some new faces up there.
What are you trying to say about my face, Albert?
Here. There you go.
I like your face.
This is where we're going to turn our cameras off and be like, okay.
It's co-chairs or department chair. There's a significant stipend that comes with it. And Jan and I share it because we share the job. And but you are the person who goes to curriculum meetings, and I have to say that Jan and I have become experts at curriculum development. And then there's some jobs like Jan is in charge of the budgets, which is one of the things that I think is frustrating because a lot of us don't even have budgets yet, and they've lost some money. Some of you can talk about that, but but that's part of it. Scheduling, that's probably the thing that stresses Jan out the most because that's one of her main duties. But it's going to meetings and kind of helping encourage the different the 10 different programs to set schedules and update classes and things like that. Jan, you look like you were about to say something.
It has evened out a lot. It really has. And so you've got really wonderful people to work with and a really wonderful dean to work with. It's and it gives an insight, and you get a voice at department chairs meetings where you hear what other chairs in other areas are doing and what their issues are, some of which could be how they solve problems, some of which could be new programs that they have started. And so it's very interactive, and there's that exchange of, so what isn't working, and thrashing those issues out.
One of the things that Jan and I have done, which we think is particularly smart, is we've set up a weekly meeting with NOAA. And so we can talk about all of the issues in advance and plan things. And NOAA is so incredibly organized. He prepares every meeting in advance, and he's adjusting things as you go. But I have developed a very close relationship with NOAA in these weekly meetings that we have. And I very much enjoy them. It's one of my favorite parts about the job, and the thing that I feel like I'm going to miss the most. Now I'm just going to have to show up at his office and I don't know, embarrass him or whatever, tease him. But
he always welcomes that.
Yeah. But that is one of the perks. But Jan and I not only would be happy to talk to any of you who are interested, but also we both have committed to passing the baton in a way that will make you successful. So Jan has really been working on the schedules and getting them perfect. So next year you can almost roll them over and not have nearly as much work to do as Jan has had for the last 4 years. And so anyways, we will help you train you and make sure that you're comfortable and successful and until you're able to do it all on your own without our help or input. Noah's also very incredibly helpful as well. So
we've got some dates set up for candidate statements. You need to say, I want to run. You need to, it's sort of an official process where you say, I want to run, and what you plan to do. And I think we said we'd like to see statements by March 20th.
Yes.
And immediately after that, that's the deadline. You can do it before then. And from the 21st through the 29th, we would all vote, because it is a democratic process. And Grant and I had opposition twice. And so it could be a competitive contest for department chairs or chair? Does anybody have any interest, or has anybody heard that someone has interest?
So it's kind of a bummer that we're missing like half our departments today, because it would have been nice for them to hear this.
I am recording it, and we'll upload the this recording later this evening or tomorrow morning. And with it, I will talk about encourage people to watch, because we talked about the department chair position. So I'll try to get it out to everybody. Yeah. Well, I don't know what else we can say, Jan, other than, two people have been volunteered. They don't even know it yet, but David and Albert will be running the election, as you have for the last couple terms, I believe, right?
That is news to me. Albert, did you get an email on that?
No problem here, Grant. Piece of cake.
You got it, buddy.
Yeah. So we'll talk about how it will be done and all of that, but they will be the ones who take the votes, tally them, and announce who the next chair or chairs will be. Well, feel comfortable to reach out to Jan or to me or both of us, and or Noah, if you want to know more about it, or talk about it to see if you might be interested. So I guess we'll just leave it at that for now. We might do some more recruiting if we're not getting enough people expressing their interest, but let's see, other agenda items. Well, curriculum. I love how much we've accomplished this semester. Jan goes to every tech review, so she's in there fighting to make sure things move on, or tweaking them so that they move on. But we had our curriculum crew meeting, and we invited James, and Noah came after everyone left, but he was prepared to help as well. If we need to do more of those, let me know. We're happy to do that. But I have put in every single class that I teach has gone through a 5-year update and a name change. And I know that we've done a few classes in Japanese. We've done a few in communications. We've done Spanish and lots of others. So it is been a very productive month, and Jan and I still have to continue to fight to get them to move through. So we'll let you know if we have anything else need changes or whatever. But I don't think the work is done. I think that there are still some classes left to be updated, and some programs that haven't even started. So we're here for you, but lots of work has been done, and we greatly appreciate it. I will say, and please back me up, Jan, if you agree, Modi is going to be a stickler moving forward. If your classes have not had a 5-year update, after that 5th year, it will not be offered. So make sure you check to make sure your classes are not on that list, because suddenly you might be thinking, oh, I'm teaching this class in the fall, and all of a sudden, oops, no, you're not. Modi's taking it off the schedule. So if
Grant,
We sent that
Grant,
list out. We sent that list out at the beginning of the semester, and I will send it out again at the end of this meeting, so that you see all of the classes. And James just recently sent one to us. And so take a look, because Grant and I have heard what he just said from Noah and from Dr. Fayak. Almost every single time the curriculum has come up. I will not run a class that has not met its 5-year update. That's it.
Yeah. There are two reasons why. Either if a class goes beyond the 5-year update period, either the student will not get credit for the class, even though they've paid for it, taken the class, gotten a grade, it does not count, or the school has to pay back the money for that class. And there is no way they're going to pay that money back. So this is going to be a hard, fast rule moving forward. If your class goes beyond that 5 years without an update, it's not going to be on the schedule. So I don't mean to scare you, but Jan and I are scared. And that's why we bug you sometimes. Hey, make sure you get your classes done. What can we do? And as Veronica said, James is incredibly helpful. He's quiet, but knows everything and can really answer questions. But Jan and I have been doing this for a long time, and we're happy to read anything that you submit and give you notes. And if you make us co-contributors, we can, dot the I's and cross the T's and do the math, calculating hours and such to make sure that there are no mistakes. But yeah.
And it's what we've also done in curriculum is we've pushed to have the people on the committee, not just the faculty that are doing it, create the guidelines so that you can do it as accurately as possible. Those guidelines fell out of date. I think they were 2020, and then they were supposed to work on them again 23, and it didn't happen. So there are task forces now that are working on specific things. So you can go to documents and say, what are these expectations? It has gotten much more complex over the last 5 years, and with demands from the state chancellor's office, that is only going to continue. So it's really critical that we meet all those requirements. And I want to give a shout out to communication studies because, and she's muted and Denise isn't here, but the two of them have had to upgrade their AAT degree. And you're going, no, yes, like one and done, not because of a state requirement. So they've updated their AAT, 2 certificates, and Veronica has worked really hard on bringing curriculum in 2 key classes. And you can unmute and you can, all right.
What you don't see is this eye twitch right here that I've had for the last 4 weeks while doing that. So yeah, so I got to keep the glasses on. That was a process going through it. I even met with Kelly to kind of talk to her about how she structured 3, and I'm really glad that I went through it. No, now I know what to moving forward, right? What they want to see and how it needs to be structured. But yeah, that was a process. Thanks, Jen.
It was a structure and a process, and you really got thrown into it because it was a new class, but you were adapting someone else's. So a lot of work. Like she was in her office in January working on it. So thank you. But we only have 2 more tech review and 3 more curriculum committee meetings, unless they call some emergencies. The agenda in both of those has been really light. And so stuff could get backlogged at the end and your class might not make it through. So jump on it. I will send the list out, and Grant and I are always available by email, by phone, by Zoom, if you have any questions, and we'll keep it moving forward. And do you want another curriculum crew meeting in the humanities common area? Would that be beneficial to anyone? Okay, Deborah's saying yes. Grant, so and Sarah is saying yes. So
Okay.
So specific to Deborah and Sari, send us best times, but everybody else, if you've got something that you think might be pending and you can come, give us some times. It was afternoon on a Tuesday, right, Grant?
Yeah.
It was like until 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I will bring food. If Albert's there, he'll open his office door and play for us. So yeah, I think it will be fun and can be very helpful. So, but James is very, very helpful, and he's said he'll come back. So, and if Noah's not in a meeting, he'll come as well.
Grant,
Sounds
I have
good.
a question.
Yes.
So is it true that we all are going to be updating our transfer degrees
No.
now that communication had to do it, right?
No, that was a special thing for communications.
Just for communication.
That was
So,
statewide for communication studies. And if you hadn't heard, there was at one point this state thing of, so are we going to keep communication studies in this bracket, or are we going to let it go and not require classes, which across the state caused frantic panic everywhere of how could you gut those kinds of programs, and also why would you diminish the need for those skills and classes? So the state revamped the program after going through threatening to cut it or minimize it.
okay.
But the rest of
I
us,
thought it was just all the disciplines that had to go through the
No.
change that
No.
they did.
The one thing that will happen at some point, and I've gone through it now, so I can help, is that there was a law saying that there's going to be universal numbering system for all classes in every discipline. And I've been working with Rosa on that. And I changed my numbers from MTV and also theater and humanities, but to FTVE, which is the state requirement for the name. But I've kept my existing numbers because Rosa said we're several years out before this happens. But every time you change the name, a letter or a number or the title, you have to then update your AAT or certificate of achievement so that they match. But until you start to do that, it's nothing you need to worry about. And that part of it is very easy. The updating the curriculum or altering the curriculum is the much more difficult part of it. Now, starting from scratch, like communications had to do, that's a lot harder. What they did was very, very difficult. So, yeah. Any other curriculum questions? Okay, the last agenda item is department chairs, and I wanted to talk a little about what we've been doing there and what we have planned for this coming Monday. One of the things that it was actually happened in a curriculum meeting. Somebody brought up that they were not happy with the new waitlist system. And the idea is that there's a wait list through week 1, and you can't get ad codes until week 2. Well, in a face-to-face class, that might work just fine because if someone wants to add, they can be in the classroom and not fall behind. But in an online class, if you are on the wait list and if the instructor is going to want to add that student, they cannot participate for that first week. And so they already start a week behind. And we didn't like this. And so Peter Howell spoke up and said, oh, yeah, we can do that. We can make the class visible. So it's a read-only thing for those who are on the wait list, so they can see the assignments and know what they can or should be doing when and if they get an ad code and add the class. And Dr. Fayak at first said, "No way, I won't allow that." And I think it was because something had happened badly at his last college, but he's open up to it, and there is going to be a change. The wait list is over the summer will not it will go away on day one, and there will be ad codes, and they're going to work on that whole read-only element to the wait lists in the fall. But they are working on it, and I think it's going to be better for and some instructors, they don't you might not have even thought about this because you teach face to face, or maybe you don't add students beyond your cap. But for some instructors, I was one of them. I thought it was very, very problematic, and I didn't like it at all. Deborah, you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to say about the ad code thing is that well, first I had to add more people to my overall amount of numbers. So I ended up having to go up to 40 because a lot of students were getting the ad code information during that week and they only had 24 hours to respond, which I understand. But if they didn't respond because they were doing something else and didn't see the email, then they didn't get into the class as promised.
Yeah, there were a lot of problems, and I think they are working on that. And I think some of the issues is Banner's not a particularly good system and their limitations. But I'm glad we have people like Peter Howell, who is tech savvy and he can help troubleshoot and sees it both from a instructor's point of view and then also from the tech side of it. And I think things are getting better. If you do have issues, let us know, or let someone like Peter or Noah know, and we will try to improve the system so students are struggling and possibly not getting the classes that they need. So Veronica, yeah.
Do you know if they're going to change you're on the wait list and then somebody drops and then you automatically get enrolled? Because remember, they were sending out that email to students and you have 24 hours to add the course. Were they going to get rid of that? Were they going to eliminate that process and automatically upload students?
Yeah, so there's the system right now is if a student before the first day of class, if someone's on the first person on the wait list, if someone drops, they're notified. But Jan will tell you some horror stories that she's experienced. The system is flawed, and so
That's such a nice way to put it.
It's ridiculous in that it should just automatically enroll the student. Like, you're on the wait list, somebody drops, you're in. Like,
what we understand right now, moving into summer, no wait lists. We're trying out all the different sections that some of you may be using, like 4-week and 5-week or a 10-week. But right now, this will be a continuing conversation. It's a standing item in department chairs that I would like to wear them down. I said that on tape, didn't I? I would like to be a consistent voice in recommending we return to a system that worked much more successfully for all classes. I think that's the more diplomatic way of saying it. But I know that in sciences, classes that hit cap, and I did the same thing that Deborah did. I continued to increase my cap, knowing that there would be attrition. And students still didn't get in. There was one student who was on the wait list and didn't get in 3 times. And I made a really big deal about it to A&R. And finally, they created a space for that student that somehow got vaporized every single time without being able to get from the wait list, as Veronica is saying, automatically registered into the class. But there's this, and Noah has explained this to us. We can't register a student just because they've signed up. If they're on the wait list, the college can't enroll them. The student has to take that next step. But they've made it, as Grant said at the very beginning of this, much more difficult because we don't have ad codes to give them the first week. And that could mean that a student does not join a class the way the system is set up right now until Thursday or Friday of the second week. And that is a disadvantage to the student. And it's also much harder on instructors in trying to catch them up and make sure that they are successful moving through the class. So we would like it to change, and department chairs is going to be continuing to discuss it.
Yeah. Okay, only a couple of minutes left, so let me tell you a couple other things in department chairs. We talked a lot about the new summer schedule. There are new blocks. I think that there are 5 blocks now. You're also able to, if you have good reason, to go out of those blocks. For example, with the immersion program, David and Albert are going to have class start a little earlier than normal and only be 3 weeks. So there is some flexibility, but the goal is to capture as much enrollment as possible. So if you, moving forward, if you have classes that consistently fill, that have large caps, the admin, I think, would be open to you offering them in the winter or summer sessions. They don't want to offer classes that will not hit cap. They're trying to get as much enrollment as they can, but that's something we talked about, and we can share the schedule if you haven't already seen it. Really quickly, we had a AI discussion, a lot of talking about that, and that's actually what instigated the the speaker at the convocation. And if you didn't get any of those materials, I'm happy to forward that stuff to you. We also have been talking about staffing, and we got a report on the staffing moving forward. Nick said something brilliant, and I thought in the last meeting is that there's the fawn, but there's also the 50% rule. And he said the 50% rule is only a guideline, it's not a rule. And so Dr. Avila basically said, hey, we're at 50%. No reason to hire any more full-timers because we're meeting that minimum requirement, but that shouldn't be the goal. So we're going to talk more about that. We're going to talk about classroom technology. So I wish Max was here because I know he would mention the projectors in the 2 art rooms aren't working. We need to get a list of the items that are malfunctioning in your classrooms. We need to get that to Noah and to Modi and make sure that our technology is working, because it's not acceptable. Albert and I spent some time in the Music 101 because the speakers weren't working, and I had to buy a DVD player and cables in a converter box because I was assigned this classroom, and yet I couldn't screen the films, and that's what I do in the classes. So let us know, and we will. I'm personal friends with Geronimo, who will be doing the work, and Noah his office is right next to Modi, the one who has the money. So let us know, and we will fight to make sure your classrooms work the technology in your classrooms work the way it should. We're going to be talking about that on Monday in department chairs. So let us know. I feel like there's other things. Jan, am I skipping anything that we should talk about?
We've covered a lot of ground in an hour, and
Yeah.
you have a 10 a.m. deadline, and you're 2 minutes over.
Yeah. So please let us know if you have any questions about the department chairs position or positions. And I hate to run, but I will end the recording and wish you all